What's up, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another player prop talk live stream here on the channel. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. We'll build out a few slips today, dig into some player props. Pretty much it. Not looking to go too long over an hour or even an hour. Try to keep it under an hour today. We're just going to get right into it. No wasting time. Hashtag blessed. As you know, tons of people die in their sleep. You didn't. You're blessed. Pretty easy, right? Not too many things better than waking up outside of maybe playing on better after you wake up. Use that QR code. Double up that first time deposit up to $250. No promos on better from what I can see, but only promo we've had this week on better was the Paul Skeens promo yesterday. Typically they run 3 or 4 promos on one day, usually a total base prop that we can take advantage of, but I don't see anything up on the board. So fingers crossed something does come out later today. We're going to be using OddsJam to help us locate value in the industry. If you want to sign up on OddsJam, use that code, get 30% off your first month. And we're also using props.cash to help us dig into player props. We can look at stats, game logs, BVP, all sorts of things. So feel free to throw your questions, your player props in the chat if you want me to dig into something. But we're just going to head on over to the OddsJam optimizer, pull up that on the screen and start looking at what's available. A little bit more available to us today, at least it was earlier when I was digging through all the plays, but things change real fast. So what was up a minute ago may not be up now. Got a few esports plays. Got Ryan Nelson under strikeouts. Trevor Lawrence over 111.5 passing yards preseason. That's today. Only other site giving you action on this is Underdog. So if you wanted to do a little discrepancy here, if you want to do a little middling here, I should say, with these discrepancies, you can. Or if you just feel both of these are too low, then you just take the over on both of them. All right, let's check out Underdog. Trevor Lawrence right there, top 3. So yeah, under on Underdog, over on PrizePicks, or you can just take the over on both or under on both, depending on what you think he'll play today. We do have a soccer play here. That's for tomorrow. If you want to take the under on these saves, you can. Steo's fantasy score. NQZ under 10. First 2 map headshots. Henley over his strokes here. Let's check out better, and then we'll check out Dabble, and then we'll see what where we can build out a slip first, depending on the value. So better does have a lot of PGA props up on the board. However, you're not able to just throw all these into one slip. It'll ask you to choose one. You cannot play 2 overs like this, 2 strokes for the over. You could play 1 over, 1 under. You got to choose which ones you want to roll with. But unfortunately, you cannot throw all those in the slip. Even if you tried to do that on PrizePicks, it would severely nerf out your pay. So it would go from maybe a 25x, like a 19x or something like that, 20x, which is, that defeats the whole purpose of putting it in a 6-pick. Kiter Montero under strikeouts. There's more PGA props. Musgrove under strikeouts. He's in a few different spots. Let's check out Dabble. Just waiting on Dabble. All right. Chris Bassett under 2 earned runs. Collier under her points. There's Montero under 4.5 strikeouts. Bybee under 2 earned runs. He's had some decent games against the Rangers, limiting those earned runs. Strikeouts aren't really high against the Rangers in his previous starts, but he just hasn't, they haven't really got to him. So it's not surprising to see the earned runs for the under here. Brianna Jones over rebounds. A few data points on that one. Looks good. Festa over 2 earned runs versus the Cardinals. Mabry under her points. Kia Jackson under rebounds. We've noticed there are a few more WNBA plays on Dabble. They're just taking more action on these plays. So if you like playing WNBA props, you probably want to check out Dabble. That Isaiah Pacheco is week 1. That's not a preseason prop. There's Musgrove again. So, yeah, not a whole lot to work with on the board. We're used to it, though. We're going to look at some NFL futures today. Try to build out some NFL slips for week 1, or not just week 1, but the season. And we don't need the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer to help us do that. We don't even need props.cash to help us build out season-long player props or futures. What we're going to do is just we're going to leverage the pick'em sites. We're going to check out what PrizePicks has compared to Underdog, compared to Dabble, and really just, if you want to go under or over, you're picking the one that fits, So if Dabble has the highest line compared to Underdog and PrizePicks, you play the under on Dabble. You don't necessarily have to, try to middle it, unless you feel that discrepancy is, pretty big. If you have like a 400-yard passing difference, 400 passing yard difference between 2 pick'em sites, then yeah, maybe you want to middle that. But usually these are pretty tight, probably all within, 50 to 100 yards. So let's do it. Let's see if we can pull up PrizePicks. First of all, that's been a huge issue as of late. Reinstalling the app and installing the app and restarting the laptop and powering it off and all sorts of troubleshooting doesn't really seem to help it when we go live. But looks like, well, I'm not going to say it right now. All right, looks like it's up and running. So this is just the desktop, not the desktop app. All right, so we just went over a few season-long props on Wednesday, I think it was. But depending on who you're looking at, we can find some discrepancies here. I don't know if these have bumped up since they first got put on the board, which they've been on the board for a long time now, like over a month, right? These season-long props. So it's possible they've bumped up a little bit, but let's check this out. So let's pull up Patrick Mahomes. Maybe you don't want to take unders on Patrick Mahomes. I totally understand that, but let's just take a look at the differences in line. So on Underdog, his passing yards for the year are set to 4360.5. And on PrizePicks, they're set to 4299.5. On Dabble, we're going to pull a Dabble. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. And we're just looking for discrepancies here. Now, you do have to be patient with these because you obviously have to wait quite a few months for this to finalize. But if you're down for it, it might be a nice little chunk of change waiting for you at the end of the year, which is nice. On Dabble, we got it set to 4225.5. So that is the lowest line by far. That is the lowest line by far out of all three pick'em sites. 42.25 on Dabble, 42.99 on PrizePicks, and again on Underdog, it's at 43.60. I mean, you could still take the over on Mahomes. You can still take the over on Mahomes passing yards on PrizePicks. Is almost as low as Dabble. Underdog is the one that's standing out because it's about that 61 yards higher. I'm not saying you have to take under on Underdog. Maybe you don't want to do that, but I think on PrizePicks and on Dabble, you can consider the over. Let's take a look at Joe Burrow, because I'm just trying to attack a few quarterbacks that should be in a heavier passing offense like Cincinnati. And I think Joe Burrow had something to prove this season after missing so much time. He's kind of creeping into that injury prone tag. I think if he were to get hurt this season, he'd definitely be labeled as injury prone. I mean, just can't miss a bunch of games every year, it just starts to add up, So on PrizePicks, 39.5 is his line. On Underdog, it is set to 41.25, and on Dabble, you got Joe Burrow set to 39.50. So I think on PrizePicks and on Dabble, you can look to take the over on Joe Burrow. It feels like Underdog, at least these first two picks, really kind of inflating those passing yards a little bit. But I like the over on this one. Jayden Daniels, so rookie in a new offense, new staff, right? This is not Eric Bieniemy's offense. This is not 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense. So Jayden Daniels may get like the green light to go out there and just play. If he does, maybe 31.25 is just too low. He is not on Dabble from what I can see. He's not on Dabble. All right, let's take a look at him on Underdog. The way this has been going, it's probably going to be more on Underdog. Yeah, it is more, but not by much. So on Underdog, he set the 31.50, and on PrizePicks, he's at 31.25.5. I mean, that's obviously the lowest line out of those pickup sites. He's got a lot of weapons in Washington, with Dotson and McLaurin. He's got some running backs that can catch out the backfield. I mean, yeah, 31.25 feels a little low. What's good, T? All right, let's I mean, these don't all have to be passing yards, but I like these. These are either the lowest line or one of the lower lines. If you want the lowest line on Patrick Mahomes, you're gonna have to play him on Dabble. If you want the lowest line on Joe Burrow, you'll have to play him also on Dabble. But PrizePicks is, I mean, you're looking at a difference of roughly 50-ish yards. So I think you can look at the overs on both Dabble and PrizePicks. Underdog has these a little inflated. That's 3 quarterback plays. Justin Herbert, I don't know, man. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Who's left? Quentin Johnson. No Eckler. I don't know if he struggles, but he's definitely not in the same offense anymore. You know, he's missing some weapons. What about Jordan Love? Let's take a look at Jordan Love. So on PrizePicks, you have Jordan Love's number set to 3,900.5. Now on Dabble, you have it set to 3,825.5. So that's obviously lower. And then we'll take a look at Jordan Love on Underdog and see what that is. So on Underdog, he's set to 3,915.5. So this is a little different. You have 3 pick'em sites that all have this. I mean, that's only a 15-yard difference between Underdog and PrizePicks. And it is a 75-yard, up 75 to 90-yard difference between Dabble, PrizePicks, and Underdog. So they're all pretty tight in terms of their number. So again, you want to look to the lowest one, or if you feel like he is not going to have a good season, and you're obviously going to play the under on the highest one, which is an Underdog. But if you're looking to take advantage of Jordan Love's numbers, the lowest line you'll find is on Dabble, and then the second lowest line will be PrizePicks. So yeah, if he throws for 3,901 yards this season, then he goes over. What about receiving yards? So I don't believe. I want to just see if the payouts differ. If we threw Jamar Chase in there just for some correlation, would it mess up the payout scale? PrizePicks probably has prevented us from taking advantage of that. It does not look like they have, because a 5 pick is a 10x. Then we may need to, like, if we can get away with this, we may need to just tag team quarterback receiver, and we may need to choose different quarterbacks, because not a true number one outside of Kelsey. If we went Kelsey and Mahomes, and you went Chase and Burrow, obviously we'll look into the different pick'em sites to see what the numbers look like. But that's 25x, so we can actually do that. All right, so now that we know that, let's take out. I mean, does Jordan Love have a number one, true number one? Not really, right? Christian Watson, he played like 4 games last season. All right, and what about Jaden Daniels? You know what? What is Kyler Murray's number set to? $34.74.5. That's what I think Jaden. That's where I think Jaden Daniels' line should be set to, in that 3,400 yard range. But now we got Kyler Murray, who's 100% over the injury. Ouch. It's got a nice new weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. So on Dabble, Kyler Murray's number is set to 3525.5. PrizePicks has it set to 3474. So that's roughly a 50-yard difference. And then on Underdog, he's set to 3474. So Underdog and PrizePicks has this set identically. Let's get Kelsey out of there for now. And then let's get Daniel out of there. And then let's head over to receiving yards, and then let's pull up Harrison Jr. He sets a 1,075.5 on Underdog. He sets a 1,024.5 on Dabble. So 50-yard difference there. He set to 1050.5 on Dabble. So PrizePicks again has this line set lower than the other ones. Maybe we take Mahomes out of there too. And I don't really know who to pair up Jordan Love with for this slip. Let's see. Wait. Okay, so you got Josh Jacobs in Green Bay now. You still have AJ Dillon there. I don't think you just see them just go to a heavy run game type of approach. I mean, Jordan Love still should get his opportunities to air it. All right, we have Christian Watson at 725. We got Jaden Reed at 774. You have Dubs at 599. Yeah, we're stacking them. What's up, Gilbert? Watson or Dobbs? Let's look at Dobbs. Doobs. Let's look at Doobs. So Doobs at 599. $599.5. He may not be on this guy may not be on Dabble. No. All right, so we got him at $599 on PrizePicks. What's he looking like on Underdog? 600. I mean, that's not a difference at all, right? 600.5. So I would be shitty if he ended up with like 600 on the dot and didn't go over that 0.5. Obviously, this is the lowest line. I mean, it is hard to pinpoint. Like a number one target in Green Bay. So for this particular slip, you got Burrow, Chase, Love, Dobbs, Murray, and Harrison. If we took out Dobbs and we took out Love and we just selected a different quarterback pairing, so like I know this may sound gross, but what about our number one draft pick here? What about Caleb Williams at 3474? So Caleb Williams, rookie, 3474. Murray, 3474. Jaden Daniel is set too low. I mean, I'm not saying that he is better than Caleb Williams, but what I'm saying is you have two rookies, and they're both going to be in offenses that allow them to spread the ball around and throw. I just think Jaden Daniels' line is a little low. The problem is if you want to pair him with somebody, I mean, you can. I mean, you can still pair him with McLaurin or Dotson, but like when we look at Caleb Williams, he's at 3,600 on Underdog. So you were getting 125, roughly 125 yard difference between Underdog and PrizePicks. And then on Dabble, you're getting his line at you're getting his line at 34.75. Obviously, Underdog has this juice a little high, but if you threw him in there, now it's the opposite problem in Chicago, where in Green Bay, like, you don't have a true number one. In Chicago, you have basically two number ones. You have Keenan Allen, and you have DJ Moore. It can work. You know, it's worked in places where you have like basically two number ones, and you have that going on in Miami. You have DJ Moore set to 974, and you have Keenan Allen set to 825. Now, in San Diego, at least, Keenan Allen has had issues staying healthy and playing full seasons, which at times has really impacted his overall production. And they just put not too much money, but they just gave DJ Moore a nice bag in the offseason too. So one could argue that DJ Moore is the number one. He's younger, you know, he's getting paid like a number one. But Keenan Allen is, you know, his whole career has been the number one receiver. So out of those two, you can look to take the one that's the lowest, which is Keenan Allen, or you could look to take the one that is going to be in that number one role. Doesn't have Justin Fields throwing to him. Justin Fields and Tyler Badgett, you know. Caleb Williams has yet to prove himself in the NFL, but one might say already that he is an immediate improvement over those two guys, or no? So for DJ Moore, he's set to 950 on Dabble. DJ Moore is set to 1,000.5 on Underdog. So if we rolled with this, we got a nice quarterback receiver stack going on here. The Huskies, Washington Huskies lost to Michigan. So we got a nice little quarterback receiver stack going on. We got Burrow, Chase, Murray, Harrison, Caleb Williams, and DJ Moore. That looks like the Auburn Tigers jersey. They need to make it orange or something, but this one looks like Auburn. But anyway, Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. That's that's a quick 6 pick on PrizePicks, a season long. It says that we do have a payout. Guys, we do have a payout. So PrizePicks is not letting us get away with this one. So we'll have to let's see how many plays we have to take out in order for it to not get shifted. So let's take DJ Moore out. And if we don't have DJ Moore in there, let's just take Caleb Williams out. So these 4 plays, nothing wrong, right? Like there's no nerf payout. It's still, so I think when we try to go a 6x on these, it's gonna nerf us out. So then what we'll do is we'll just have to go, we can still go quarterback receiver, but they can't be on the same team. So you could also maybe go under on Caleb Williams and over on DJ Moore. I mean, I don't know why you'd want that. It doesn't really help the correlation, but in order to get the payout, maybe, you know, you could try that. But oh God, I thought this was his passing yards at first. I was like, what just happened? Didn't we just get it at 31? So let's put Jaden Daniels back in there. All right. Let's put Jaden Daniels back in there. So now we're at a 5, and it is nerfing us. So yeah, yeah, we definitely cannot do this. We definitely cannot pair up receivers and quarterbacks, because that is a 9x. That is not worth it. So what you're gonna have to do is, one thing you can do is play 6 quarterbacks in a slip, and then in the second slip play the 6 receivers that correlate to them, and that way, if you know one goes over, quarterbacks go over, hopefully receivers go over. We just can't pack them all into one slip, apparently. So, and that sucked because you know, we had a nice little stack going on there. So we're down to 3 quarterbacks. We're down to 3 quarterbacks here. Yeah, so let's throw Caleb Williams back in there. We can even take an under on a quarterback. I mean, if there's a number here that is just standing out, and you know, you just think it's too high, we could take an under on something. Like Daniel Jones over 28, 24.5. I mean, that is, I know it's Daniel Jones and he's not like a prolific passer, but that's really low. He's at 2,900 on Underdog. If he's at 2,700 on Dabble, I'm gonna laugh and play the over. If Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt, he's got a great shot at crushing that line. I mean, no Saquon in New York anymore, and I know that hurts. Like, I mean, I don't know what it actually hurts. Maybe it just takes one pass catcher away from him. It takes a weapon away from him. But I mean, do we just see the Giants pass more with Saquon in there? Who the hell is Jack Fox? He's a punter. So basically, if Detroit runs any shenanigans, a fake punt or whatever, and Jack Fox completes the pass past the line of scrimmage, he goes over this. Like, he needs 1 yard. That's crazy. Is anybody playing that Jack Fox play? Got to do them in 4-man, says T. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see if we can run them in 4-mans. Let's see if we throw Chase in there, and then we throw Harrison Jr. in there. Oh, there's Chase right there. I don't even have to search. Cool. All right, and then we'll take out Daniels, and we'll take out Williams, who I still like. Just trying to figure out the best way to build out a slip and correlate this. Yeah, so you can definitely play a 4. You can definitely play a 4 pick. For this one, I'm gonna go power play because that's the whole point. Is we're correlating, right? Yes, it's possible for Burrow to not go over yards, but Chase go over, his yards. That's possible, but the whole point of building out this slip is we want both of them to go over. So that's what we're going for. Like, we're trying to build a slip out with upside. So you have quarterback, receiver, right? It is a power play. And basically what we did is we just compared lines. We went line shopping. We just compared lines on PrizePicks, Underdog, and Dabble, and we went with the best lines. And Underdog seems to have really inflated a lot of these lines. And I'm not saying you have to play the under on Underdog, but what I am saying is that you go look for it at a lower line somewhere else. Michael Penix. Michael Penix is in Atlanta now. He's behind Kirk Cousins, which is cool because Kirk Cousins has maybe 2 seasons left as a starter, maybe 3. I don't know. But you obviously aren't drafting Michael Penix Jr. to be a career backup. So I think the plan is just to, they're doing it right. You got a good veteran there. And Penix doesn't have to start right away. But once he does slide into that role, I mean, he's got weapons in Atlanta. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan. No more Arthur Smith, stupid ass play calling in Atlanta. That I'm not even a Falcons fan, but it's like these guys are just rotting away in Atlanta. These skill positions are just rotting away in Atlanta. Like, let's give Tyler Algiers 15 carries a game. Bijan is just sitting there. I think he said he didn't want to get him hurt his rookie. He said shit that was just dumb shit for coaches to say. Like, you maybe think it, but you don't tell the media that. It's like, I'm glad his ass is gone. He'll be a coach again because the NFL has this disgusting habit of just recycling trash. It's like, oh, he was a head coach at on another team, so let's give him another shot. But he'll get another gig at some point, I'm sure. All right, let's erase that. Let's do another one. Let's look at some rushing yards, or maybe even we can look at rushing yards or rushing touchdowns. Let's look at rushing yards. Okay. So even just like within the top 6, I feel like a couple of these are not way too low, but just are standing out to me. Like a running back under 1,000 yards season feels low, but the way teams switch running backs up, and you're not looking at, aside from Derrick Henry, there aren't too many running backs left in the NFL that carry the ball 20-25 times a game. So it's not the way it used to be. But 975, 999 for Saquon. Josh Jacobs. I'm not like big on Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. If this Atlanta offense lets Bijan loose, that one might be one to look at. This Breece Hall as well at 149. With Aaron Rodgers back in the saddle, you can't just like try to take away the running game anymore or focus on one person. With the healthy Aaron Rodgers, he can just pick you apart. So I think Aaron Rodgers being back is a really good thing for Breece Hall. 1,049 yards. If he's healthy and he is the number one back there, I mean, you're looking at somebody who can like break off 60, 70-yard runs, you know? So let's look at a few. So let's start with Derrick Henry. I'll pull Derrick Henry up on Dabble. So on Dabble, he's at 950 yards. And I know Lamar Jackson, you know, will get his carries, but I just think that Lamar Jackson we're going to see just a little less of that shit because Baltimore has not had a bona fide running back like Derrick Henry. Even though he's on the downside of his career, he is an immediate upgrade over anybody else in that backfield by far. If J.K. Dobbins was healthy, Derrick Henry wouldn't be there. So, I mean, not since Jamal Lewis have the Ravens had a running back that can just like carry the ball and milk the clock. And you trust it. You trust that running back. And Derrick Henry is that guy. So I think we see a little less from Lamar Jackson on the ground, but I don't think Lamar Jackson impacts Derrick Henry's numbers as much as Derrick Henry impacts Lamar Jackson. So I think 975 is a good number to look at. If you want the lowest line, it's on Dabble at 950.5. And then if you if you're looking to play this on Underdog, he's set to 1,025. So it doesn't make sense to play the over on Underdog and not play it anywhere else when you're getting clear lower line on both PrizePicks and Dabble. So going over on Derrick Henry is a good one to start with. I have a theory here for rushing touchdowns. Dude, Jamal Lewis was so good. Yeah, it's been a while. Might need to look into passing and rushing yards if you think of Bijan. What's up, Travis? Oh, nice, man. Saquon Barkley touchdown prop at 7.5 on PrizePicks. He's in the best offense he's been in. You could argue in his career. He's at 7.5 on Underdog, and there are no rushing touchdown props on Dabble. So you can play this on Underdog. You can play it on PrizePicks. But my theory here is that we see a little less brotherly shove this season, especially without Kelsey in that offensive line and him retiring. It definitely is a huge downgrade. And you have a goal line back like Saquon Barkley for a reason. And I think we see the Eagles run a little bit more on the goal line with Barkley than Hurts. And it just depends on what side of the fence you are on this. If you think like it's not going to impact and you don't even care about Barkley, But I think 7.5 is too low. And we're just talking about goal line touches. The way the Eagles score, the way the Eagles get down inside the 5, I mean, Saquon could possibly hit this on goal line touches alone. And we're not talking about from 10 yards out or 20 yards out or whatever. We're talking about 5 yards in, instead of Jalen Hurts, running it in, you see Saquon. So I'm interested in that one. I think that one's cool. I'd rather play the over on his touchdowns than his pass or than his rushing yards. That's my theory. You do not have to follow my theory. Let's see. Let's check out that rushing receiving yard total for Bijan. Set the 1549 on PrizePicks. They don't even have it on Underdog. Have his rushing yard set to 1100, which is higher than PrizePicks. Dabble. Let's see if Dabble has rushing receiving yards. They do not. Well, if you can find Bijan's rushing and receiving yards lower than 1549.5, play that. Right now, the only pick'em site I'm seeing this on is PrizePicks, so we don't really have a line to compare it to. So you'll either have to play it somewhere else at a lower line, or maybe you feel this is too low and you just roll with that one. I think my flex is going to be all demons. Fuck it. All right. Let's go back to let's give some rushing touchdowns. You know what we could do is we have 2 picks in here, non-quarterback, non-receiver. It might be it might be worth looking at putting a different quarterback receiver duo in this lineup. If it lets us put 2 different pairs, that gives us a 6 pick. I wonder if it'll let us submit it without any pay decrease. So CJ Stroud's passing yards, 4175 on Dabble, 4174 on PrizePicks. And 4275 on Underdog. So cool. I like that one. Lowest line, basically the same on Dabble. Play it on Dabble if you want. And I just like this Nico Collins. It's under 1,000 yards. I know it's not under by much, but I just like it. It's the lowest line you're going to find. 1,050.5 on Underdog. And I don't believe that Dabble has it any lower. They may, but I don't think they do. They do. Dabble has this set to 975.5. So if you like Nico Collins this season, the line on Dabble is 975, which is, that's really low. So now we got this 4 pick. Cool. We think Stafford stays healthy this season. T, you asked the question, like, who gets hurt this year? Dak Prescott. Number 1. Dak Prescott will miss 5 weeks this year with a fucked up ankle. Trey Lance will slide in, and the Cowboys will lose like 4 straight. It's the same thing every season. Like Dak Prescott will get hurt. He'll miss just enough time, just enough time for the Cowboys to like hit the skids a little bit, and he comes back. So, my money's on Dak Prescott getting hurt. So Matthew Stafford over 39.24. $38.25 on Dabble. And then you have $4,000 on Underdog. What about Golf? Golf's at 40.49. $41.50 on Underdog. And 40.25 on Dabble. See, now it's not going to let us do it. Yeah. So we definitely can't. Wow. It won't even let us put in 1 pair and a 5 pick. So it looks like 4 pick is the limit in terms of receiver quarterback duo. We take Collins out. And we can still put in 2 additional picks. It just can't be quarterback receiver duo. What about Aaron Rodgers under? Aaron Rodgers at 3,700 on Dabble, 36.99 on PrizePicks, and I think he's at 3,800 on Underdog. If you're gonna play an under for Aaron Rodgers passing yards, yeah, he's at 3,800.5 on Underdog. Play it on Underdog. I know it's only 100-yard difference, but I mean that could, you know, I'm just throwing this out there. Like if the Jets end up making a run for the playoffs, or they got their seed locked up and they don't need to play that final game, and Aaron Rodgers sits and he finishes the season with 35-78. Right, you have scenarios like that, but or if he gets hurt, obviously, but we're banking on these guys not getting hurt. But under an Underdog 3,800, it just gives you the highest line. Yeah, it just gives you the highest line. Let's see how many receiving yards Bonanza have last year. He was eating. Bonanza. You could take him less and take CD Lamb over, maybe. Oh, Dak Prescott less. Let's try that. That's not that bad, right? Golf, St. Brown, and Laporta should be. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun offense. That's gonna be a real fun offense. I mean, it was fun to watch last season. Laporta was a rookie, but with St. Brown in there, I don't know what's going on with Jameson Williams, but you still have Jahmyr Gibbs in there. Y'all think CD Lamb goes over receiving yards this season? 13.25. I mean, I don't think it's too high. I'm just more so like, is he even in the game, like mentally right now? Is he just like, is he checking out in Dallas? Is he gonna throw a tantrum this season? Is he gonna be like AB and just make shit difficult? Like all that really factors in, especially like he's had such a rocky offseason. But I guess if they do end up signing him before the season starts, or even like within the first week, then we don't have to worry about any of that because he'll have his bag and he'll be happy. But he's at $13.99 on Underdog. And on Dabble, he is at 1,300 even. So again, only a 25-yard difference between Dabble and PrizePicks, but much easier to go over 1,300.5 than 1,325.5. Right, it's just the lowest line. But for the sake of this slip, if we went over CD and under on DAC, that is a 25x. So yeah, we didn't crack a code, because now we have to go and find a quarterback receiver duo to the opposite. So like maybe now we look at offenses where there isn't a true number one, like Green Bay. Or if you feel a quarterback is just going to have a rough year, like if Trevor Lawrence has an off season, just not, not cutting it. If Herbert has, if Justin Herbert, since he's missing so many weapons in an offense, if you feel that slows him down at all, maybe you take the under on that. There are some different scenarios in the league that you can take a look at. Anthony Richardson, man, like the guy didn't play a full season last year. He's not the biggest, baddest dude on the field like he was at Florida. Like these DBs will lay your ass out. These linebackers are just as fast and big as you. I think they limit his rushing attempts this season. They don't need him to get hurt again. But like in the event he does get hurt, he's definitely not going over this. So Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, new offense in Tennessee. I know he and DeAndre Hopkins had a nice rapport last season. Now you got Calvin Ridley in Tennessee. You have Tajay Spears in the backfield. You got just an upgrade at certain positions and just a new look to the offense. This is a happier offense for yards, So maybe Will Levis, goes over that. With Ridley there, does that take away from Hopkins? You go under on Hopkins receiving, you go over on Levis. There are a few different ways you can do that, but if you want to get a 6 pick in, and you don't want to just stick to 4 picks, you can definitely look at going over on one and going under on another one in terms of quarterback receiver duo. Deshaun Watson's another one. Did he get paid? Oh yeah. If CeeDee Lamb gets paid, he's definitely going over. I agree. Yeah. If CeeDee Lamb gets paid, what would happen if we went under? 24x. So it's not a huge payoff, or it's not a huge decrease, but it defeats the purpose of going 6 picks. Like you're not even getting the full amount of money, right? So we definitely have to think about that one. Let's look at that Deshaun Watson. Cleveland last year was a mess. You had Nick Chubb get hurt in the first game, right? Thursday night. Was it Thursday night? Sunday night? He's out. Deshaun Watson was not 100% healthy last. You had Joe Flacco carrying that team to the playoffs. So Deshaun Watson's at 3250.5 on Dabble. And he is at 3,400 on Underdog. I would gladly take the under on Underdog. That is the highest line by far. Man, I really like taking it under on CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. I would rather play the under on Underdog I mean, it is a difference of almost 800 yards. I mean, that's like 3 games, basically. But anyway, if Nick Chubb is back, that's a running team. You know, that's how they're winning games. You know, they're playing defense. They're forcing offenses into making mistakes. They're capitalizing on turnovers. And they're just like punishing teams with the ground game. Then Deshaun Watson will eat, but, you know, not 5,000, 4,500 yards a year eat. But, you know, it's Nick Chubb in that offense. Sam Darnold starting in Minnesota. Now, JJ McCarthy is out for the year. I don't know what he tore. He tore his meniscus, I think, in OTAs or just spring training, preseason. Now you have Sam Darnold, who it's Sam Darnold, 34.75 on underdog. He's not even on Dabble. So you're getting the highest line on PrizePicks by far. So under on Darnold's passing yards. I understand that Justin Jefferson is in Minnesota. I get that. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jordan Addison hurt himself also. I don't know if he's healthy for week 1. I think there is a drop off between Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, but I understand that Justin Jefferson is a beast, but you can't just throw it to him every play. I mean, come on. So I think 3,500 is a little too high for Sam Darnold, honestly. I might be wrong, but it's a season long. And he might get hurt, or he might just stink so bad in week 6 that they pull him and they bring in Hall. I think is his last name. You never know. We see this shit all the time. We see backup quarterbacks getting a chance to start. Oh, it's a resurgence. Oh, they get a chance to turn their career around. But they're the same. They are who they are. You can't pour sugar on shit and call it a donut. It's still a shit. It's still a piece of shit with sugar on it. Like, if you're just a journeyman backup quarterback, that's what you are, and that's who you'll be. So that's who he is. And I don't know if he's a 3,600 yard passing yards a season kind of guy. 3,500 is a little too high. I'm cool with that. You go under on Darnold, under on Dak, who will get hurt this season. You go over on Goff. You go over on Stroud. We go over on TDs for Barkley. We go over rushing yards for Derrick Henry. That's a 6 pick season long right there. We'll put 5 on it. And we'll share it in the Discord, or we'll share it in the chat. I'm all over the place today. I feel terrible. I'm obviously sick, if you can't hear it. So my words are all crossed up. But I'll share this in the chat, and feel free to tell it if you want to tell it. Travis says, this will never happen, but what if Lamb goes to the Chiefs? Holy shit, 3-peat, but Chiefs don't have the money. I know. There was like there was not a rumor, but I just heard from somebody. They were just like throwing out different scenarios, and you would send Rashee Rice. You would send Rashee Rice, draft picks, and I don't know if there's another player for CeeDee Lamb, basically. But the problem with that is that you got to sign CeeDee Lamb. Like, you can't just acquire him, you know? You got to sign him. So sign and trade. You sign him and trade him. Or you work out the details of the contract, make the trade, and then once he's the Chief, you would honor the deal. I don't know how that works in the NFL, but I think the Chiefs would have to give up a lot. I think the Chiefs would have to give up Pacheco, because Dallas has nothing in the backfield this season. If you had Rashee Rice and Pacheco, I mean, Pacheco's an upgrade over Deuce Vaughn, and Scooby McLemore, and who the fuck else is in Dallas. He's an upgrade, right? You do have a drop off, huge drop off between Lamb and Rashee Rice, but I think you have enough to like hold it together with Brandon Cooks, and hopefully some of those younger dudes step up. Yeah, that'll take a lot of wizardry. You can get Harry Potter in here to wave his wand. Like that would take a lot, but it is fun to think like that. It is fun to think like a GM. That's a tough position. All right. We just built out 2 season-long picks. Feel free to tell. They're in the chat. We built out a 4-pick power and a 6-pick flex. We have about 5-6 minutes left. Let's see if we can add just a standard slip today on one of the pick'em sites. Let's see what we can find. Shohei Ohtani under his fantasy score. Andre Palante under strikeouts. You got Jensen over. We built out 2 season longs on PrizePicks. Let's try to build out something else on a different pick'em site. Let's see what we can find. Mads Hermanson under saves. Got Jock Peterson going over. Jaron Duran going over. We have Judge going under. Castillo going under. Derrick Henry going under rushing yards. Well, bitch, that doesn't work for me because I took the over on his season-long rushing yards. So I need him to get 1,000 yards in the first game of the season. No, actually, like something you can do to figure out rushing yards for the year. He needs 976 rushing yards. He plays what? 14 games this season, you think? He needs average 69 yards. So he can finish with 70 yards and be fine. Obviously, whatever he rushes for in the opener isn't what he'll do every game, right? He'll have his 100-yard game. He'll have a game where he pops off. And then he'll have some games where he's, obviously he's not getting it done. As long as it balances out to over 975.5, we're good. Kelsey Plum under assist. There's Ohtani under batting fantasy score. You got Sale over strike. We have enough to build something out on underdog here. Now, I feel like I got away with murder taking the under on Ohtani's total bases 2 days in a row. Last week, I think it was in between home runs or after all the home runs he hit. But I took the under on total bases and he went under bases. So, but I don't want to keep messing with that. It's like poking the bear. So we do have enough here. If you're not a fan of the fantasy scores, I get you. We can skip the fantasy scores. You're not gonna be a fan of every play. It's just not how it works. We're not in the business of picking our favorite players and shit. We're just trying to pick the best plays. Sometimes they are our favorite players. Sometimes, you feel like you got to take a shower afterwards. Kelsey Plum's not on the board anymore. Let's refresh. I love Florida State. But I used to hammer the shit on the under Travis. What was it? Jordan Travis for the quarterback of Florida State. I should know his name. I used to hammer the under on his first half passing yards because he really didn't get it going in the first half. Sometimes Florida State would go out there and just like sleepwalk the first half. And I was just like, I'll take advantage of that shit. So as much as I love Florida State, I leverage their inefficiencies. And I didn't feel terrible about it. All right, let's start off with this Chris Sale strikeout prop. Let's see if Chris Sale is still on the damn board. All right, let's see. Simeon under. See, all those plays got taken off. Kennedy Carter under her PRA. I mean, we have enough, especially if you go with some of these fantasy scores. I'm not saying you have to go under on Judge. If you don't want to go under on Judge, don't go under on Judge. But it is grading out as a plus EV play. You do have MGM saying that he gets you about 10. So this is a little too high. Castillo under pitcher fantasy score. This game is in Seattle. Tanner Bybee versus the Rangers. Now, let me show you this Tanner Bybee shit, because I was looking at the under his earned runs against the Rangers, and I just didn't like it at first. But when I looked into his game logs, you know, his last 5 strikeouts have been fine, right? Last 15, last 10. His earned runs in that time frame have been really low, right? But his earned runs versus the Rangers, last 3 starts, 2, 1, and 1. So his earned runs were at 2. And so I thought, okay, that's lining up really well. Even though it's the Rangers, I get it. But his strikeouts versus the Rangers have really not been there. So he's keeping the runs low, but his strikeouts are low. So he's just giving guys that hit a lot of ground balls, maybe double plays, pop-ups, and shit like that. His earned runs are low. His strikeouts are low. And his pitching outs are okay. If he gets you 18 pitching outs and he goes for 6 Ks, that's 18 plus, that's 36. You know, he gives up 2 earned runs. That's 30 fantasy points. Over on Underdog, he would need the quality start, which is worth 5 points to get the over. But in the event his strikeouts are low, in the event he goes 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, which is 33 points. He gives up 2 earned runs. That's 27 points. He gets the quality start. That's 32 points. At that point, the Guardians would have to win for him to go over. If they don't win, or if he doesn't get credit for the win, then he doesn't get any additional points. So it's like he's in that 32 to 34 point range. So this one does make sense. If you want to pull the trigger on the under for Bybee, it makes sense once you look at the game logs and what he's actually done. And you also have guys like Adolis Garcia or Adolis Garcia. I guess it depends on what part of the country you're in, how you say his name. Adolis Garcia going under. You have Simeon going under, or at least they're projected to go under. So when you start seeing, this, it's kind of favoring the pitcher, right? Like he's not going to get blown up. I guess if you took the under on Bybee's fantasy score, you could kind of want the Rangers to get to him a little bit. It would just add a little insurance. But based off what we saw, I mean, that one could be in play. I don't know about the Kennedy Carter under 24.5. Let's take a look at it over on props.cash real quick. I got to blow those. You can't just keep like, because then your sinuses get all fucked up. So we have the sky versus the sun. And we're looking at the under 24.5 PRA for Carter. So 24.5 is a much higher line than what, well, by 1, but that can make all the difference in the world. The problem is she's been crushing this line over her last 5 and 10 games. Now, if you're looking for a silver lining, she has yet to go over this versus Connecticut. She is projected for 26 PRA. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 books that are taking the under, and a couple of those spots, it's not that big of an under, like minus 115, 120, 105, 123. It's not like super convincing. So I don't know. Depends on what side of you're on. If you think that her struggles continue versus this team, then the under looks real good. She's only averaging 11 PRA versus the Sun. If you feel like what we've been seeing over the last 5 games is going to continue, last 10 games is going to continue, then maybe you have a different thought about this. Or if you're superstitious, then you really look at this over, under, over, under, over, under. If you believe that continues, depends on what kind of bettor you are. So you have a few different ways to look at this, or you could just stay away from it. So there are many ways to break down a play, to each their own. I guess it just, as long as it results in you winning, that's all we really care about. What else do we like? Anything on underdog that you're seeing on the optimizer, or just a play that's popping out to you? We could throw it in the 3 pick. Yeah, I agree. Chavez. Pacheco's too valuable to him. Yeah, that's a fun trade to think about. Mahomes and CD Lamb, but it would take a lot. Oh, nice. The last Flex Friday I hit, I can't even remember. I don't really remember. I remember when it used to be a $25 max, I think, or $20 max, and you could bet as much as you wanted, but they would only refund you the 20 that you put. And so you would put $33 on the 6 pick, and all you would need to do is hit 4 out of 6 to make your full money back. And then anything 5 and 6, if you hit 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6, you profit. But if you just got 4 out of 6 right, 40% you win, and then they refund you your 20. So, or they refund you up to 20. So the difference. So it would it was a nice little cheat code until they figured it out and they nerfed it. All right. At first, this looked like we had a lot to work with, and now I feel like we don't really have a lot to work. I mean, we have plays, you know. You could definitely go under Castillo. You go under Judge if you want to. You can go under Otani if you want to. I do like the sale over strikeouts, even though it is against the Nationals. I do like the under Bybee fantasy score. I really do. The Brittany Sykes play is I wish it was at 17.5, but you're still seeing it on FanDuel at 18.5. You're still seeing it on Bovada at 18.5, and you're seeing it on HOTSTREAK at 19.5. And Brittany Sykes is no longer on the board, so that's easy. So again, this is getting harder and harder to build slips out on live stream. When you're making them out by yourself, you can just do it very quickly. But things change so quickly that minute to minute, it's different. So it's still showing points and assists for Brittany Sykes on the optimizer, but I'm not seeing it on Underdog. Remember what I told y'all? Sometimes plays show up on Underdog app
that don't show up on the desktop and vice versa. I don't understand why that's the case. They're the same thing, but I literally had both pulled up at the same time, and the plays are completely different. So no idea what's going on there. All right, so Brittany Sykes now is on the board over Brittany Sykes, 18.5. Sale over strikeouts. I like those two. And then Kelsey Plum under points. Oh man, that's suicide. Let's look at Kelsey Plum under points though. I've taken Plum under points before. She's not a sure thing every game. Last 2 games, she's crushed this. Last 10 games, 60% hit rate. But against this Minnesota Lynx team, just hit it recently. Last 3 games prior to that, no. Yeah, if you don't want to play the under on this one, I get it, 100%. You do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that like this. Nafisa Collier, under her points, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that like that one. Collier, under 19.5, the same game, so we don't have to go searching too far, but looking at her points at 19.5, her games against the Aces have not been good. She did hit this in their last game, but just 2 for 7. Last 2 games, she's been on fire. Washington and Aces, right? Last 10, 5 out of 10. She's projected for about 18 points. You can round it up to 19 if you want. Hard Rock, Fliff. Fliff actually likes the over on this one. Hard Rock, Caesars, betonline.ag, Bet Rivers like the under. And if you can find it at 18.5, it might be worth your while to play that one. But I'm gonna do it. And always go standard. Well, not always. You do what you want to do. But Underdog offers 6x under 3 picks. It's the best payout in the industry in terms of 3 picks are concerned. You can hedge it if you want. But I like going standard and going for the 6x. But you just do what you want to do. And that is a 3rd slip, and I think that's going to do it for today. We built out 2 NFL season-long slips on PrizePicks. 4 pick hours are in play because you can go quarterback, receiver without getting nerfed on your payout. If you try to go 5x or if you try to go 5 pick or 6 pick, PrizePicks will limit your payout, so it's not worth it at that point. One thing you can do is go under quarterback passing yards over receiver yards. Like if you went for Dak and CD, you can go under on Dak's passing yards, over on CD. You can just build a slip like that. You get your 25x. But if you're trying to correlate quarterback and receiver, if quarterback goes over passing yards, you want the receiver to go over passing yards. You cannot do that. PrizePicks will, I think it nerfed it down to like 18x or 19x or something like that. Not worth it. So you got to play around with that a little bit. T says links are shutting down inside, so Kelsey Plum will probably go off. All right. Underdog 3-pick in the chat. We have our 2 NFL season long slips in the chat. And unless we got like some added value to the boards, I think that's gonna do it for today. We'll take a quick look at Dabble. I gotta get out of here though. You got Mabry over rebounds. You got Collier under points. Kiter Montero under strikeouts. You got Plum under points. Bybee. So this is the Bybee play I was looking at initially. And he has kept the earned runs low. I mean, 2 out of 3 games, he hasn't even given up 2. I think that one game he did give up 3. So if you can find this at 2.5, like on Fliff, but the payout is shit. But 2.5 is a great line to take the under on. And this is on Dabble. Not a ton of value on Dabble. Better should give us more PGA props, but again, on Better, you cannot just fill out a slip full of PGA props. You'll have to go 1 understroke, 1 overstroke, 1 over birdie, 1 under birdie. That's the most you can do. You can't just go 7 overstrokes or 7 understrokes, you know, for a slip. They will not let you do that. So you can go Thagala under his strokes, Ryan Nelson under 4.5 strikeouts. Wow, Taijuan Walker just at 2.5 strikeouts. That's really low. What's going on? Yeah. So I think we did it right today. We built out 2 season-long NFL slips. Built out an underdog 3-pick. Not much popping on Better. Not much popping on Dabble. If you want to look at PrizePicks, you got Ohtani going under. You got Chris Sale going over strikeouts with I think that's the most I've ever seen in terms of support for a play. Like literally every book is taking action on that one. A couple esports plays. You got Mabry over rebounds, so that's a good sign. If you like the over on her rebounds, you see this in 2 different places. That's pretty good. Yeah. There you go. Appreciate y'all being here on this Friday morning. You got Flex Friday. Do with it what you want. I just been kind of YOLOing it, to be honest with you. With the $5 max, it's just less than it's just less appealing, you know. So I just throw a few demons in there and try to maximize payout. If it works, it works. It doesn't, you get it back. So actually, I don't even think I played my Flex Friday last Friday. That's how much I gave a shit. So hopefully I don't forget this week. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. It's not the best promo anymore. So just gotta like wait it out, I guess. When NFL is back and you got NBA and you have a lot more sports, and Flex Friday becomes a little bit more fun. But you know, on days where you're just like filling out all esports and stuff like that, it's just not as fun. Unless you're Travis, unless you're Travis, who's knocking 6-pick slips out the park, going 25x on a daily basis. So yeah, unless you're Travis, you don't give a damn about no $5 limit. So yeah, that's gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back on Monday morning with another Player Prop Talk live stream, 8:50. Make sure you're subbed up to the channel and make sure your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out. Make sure you like this stream on your way out. It means a ton. Appreciate you being here, and hopefully our underdog slip hits. I did post a couple of slips in the Discord already, but it'll just be based off value available throughout the day in terms of how many more slips I play. But hopefully we get a few more slips into the Discord and you all can tell those. But once again, appreciate y'all being here. I hope y'all guys have a great day, great weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. And until Monday's live stream, Chavez is out.